Now it is my honor to start this race. Gentlemen, start your engines.
All right, all right, all right. Gentlemen, start your engines!
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Muskies on Tap podcast. Welcome to episode 101. We are live from the Muskie Lodge down in Cave Run, Kentucky. Max and I and some other people that we're going to have on tonight have made it down last night. We'll chit-chat on that. And before we go any further, I'm one of your hosts tonight, Gus Manti. And first, I will introduce my brother, Max. How you doing tonight?
I'm hanging on by a thread. Gotta be honest. We made the trek, last night, Tuesday night. We decided to leave our homes right around 3 in the afternoon. I think we stumbled into Cave Run, Kentucky at about 5 a.m. We then shortly found out we were locked out of our cabin. Had a couple other mishaps along the way, which we'll get into, and then we were at the boat landing without a wink of sleep. So I am now here after a long, humbling day on the water. Once again, Cave Run. Oh, Jesus.
Cave Run, shout out.
Has served me up a nice slice of humble pie. So we're going to get into it. A little live look-in preview for the first leg of the 2025 PMTT tournament. But without further ado, Gus, let's introduce our other co-host this evening. It's none other. Well, I got two actually. One of the fine gentlemen here with us this evening is none other than Mr. Clayton Spees. Clayton, how we doing?
Hey guys, doing all right. Again, also hanging on by a thread. Thankfully, have a full belly now because that was a long period, long travel day, no sleep, and a long day on the water. When we're still used to that northern Wisco cold weather, and it was beautifully
It was hot.
Yeah, I mean. As much as I wanted to complain about it, I forced myself to not complain about it because it felt good, yet it was so hot at the same time. But completely exhausted. Good to be here, though.
Yeah, it was a nice welcome back. I mean, we I think every year, we come down here with high expectations. First run of the year, we were welcomed with 85-degree weather, flat, super sunny conditions. I know. Sounds like there was some murmurs of potentially some fish that were caught today, so we do know it is possible. Thankfully, but here at the Muskie Lodge, we're still sitting with a 0 on the board, and I know somebody's got some thoughts on that. And that's our second co-host this evening, none other than Mr. Hammer Customs himself, Nick Ambrose. How we doing tonight, Nick?
I'm doing good. I'm not hanging on by a thread. I got the full count.
Really?
And just want to recap on it. Clayton said that he didn't complain about the heat, but he did. I don't know what boat he was in, but it was a good time out there. It was nice to get some sunshine out there for once and get away from, what did we leave? It was like 35 degrees yesterday in Eagle River. Yeah, so it was nice to see a little temperature change.
All right, so we were kind of forewarned about this before we got down here, but high water. What were you guys expecting? I guess from what you guys were hearing to then what you guys were kind of seeing when you got out on the water today.
I mean, we knew it was going to be really high. We were reaching out to some people. Sounded like it hit, if you guys want to remind me, it was like a third most record at Cave Run, like 20 feet above.
I think it was 28.
28, or sorry, 28. It's at about 20, 21 feet. Excuse me. It was at 28 at one point from, I think Greg Thomas said 5 or 6 inches of rain in like a couple days. They had some really bad flooding, it sounded like, but the lake's dirty. Parts of the lake you can't see more than an inch or two at best, and then there's some parts of the lake that I guess maybe since they're starting to drop it at about half a foot a day or so, are clearing up a little bit, but it's making things a little bit difficult. We didn't really know exactly what to expect. For Max and I, this is our third time getting to Cave Run, and the first 2 years the water levels were pretty normal.
Right.
So this is different.
Yeah, and you know, easily explained because I needed this to be explained to myself because I'm a dummy, especially when it comes to reservoir type fishing. So, you know, and I hear 28 feet above pool, I guess I just think, wow, that's high. But like seeing it in person, it's, you know, I guess the best way to put it into perspective is like all the spots we were fishing last year when we were in 10 feet of water, now that it's 20 feet above pool, today we were sitting in 30 feet of water. So as you can imagine, you know, the spots last year look essentially nothing like they do this year. And that was kind of our thought process of deciding to leave, you know, a night early, I guess, and sorry, we're having some technical difficulties here on the live show, and I know Gus doesn't want to do any editing here this evening, so bear with us. What would you say, Clayton, that decision to leave I guess a day early or a night early was worth it for what you learned today?
Well, I'm thankful we were able to leave early and still get on the water today, even though we really didn't do a whole lot. We may have seen a few, possibly on the electronics. They were easy. I think maybe that had to do with some of the weather and stuff. Some of the extremely quick rising water temps, you know, this afternoon may have kind of stalled them out a little bit, but there were some techniques that we were hoping to maybe utilize this year that we haven't played around with a whole lot. And I don't think that's going to work out this year based on the water depth and the way everything's kind of setting up right now. So we did learn some stuff, even though we don't have anything really to show for it yet.
Okay, so you brought up something kind of funny, and this is I want to ask you three that are sitting on the couch over there about seeing fish down here at Cave Run on electronics, because I think this body of water, more than any other body of water, if you'd agree, is probably one of the harder places to actually spot fish on electronics. There's a lot of gar down here that are in the same or similar shape as a muskie. Those gar are also paired up. It seems like at times today, which you know obviously we're dealing with a potential pre, during, and post spawn type fishery currently. So who knows if there's fish paired up muskie wise, but we pretty much chalked every single side image follow slash everything up to just being guard today because nothing really came to the boat. Yeah, I mean, you want to just kind of talk about that because I think people that haven't been to Cave Run, that might sound a little ridiculous, like not being able to see muskie on your side imaging.
Yeah. So that's a great point. I mean, we saw more gar this year than we've ever seen down here in our 4 years prior, all put together. They were definitely all over the place. But one thing with the gar is they didn't show any interest in our baits at all. I mean, we could throw out in front of them or anything, and they would not follow. If anything, they just would sink or turn and swim the other way. The couple follows that I saw on either the 360 or our live imaging as we were kind of cruising along the shoreline and casting were fish that were coming in from, they came out of structure and they followed the bait all the way to the boat. They hung around a little bit. They never really chased in the eight, but they stayed and kind of watched the bait as it went around in the eight, completely neutral or even, you know, negative fish. But I can't say that those are actually our muskies because I didn't physically see anything today. But if I would be a betting man, those would be a couple spots that we might go back and end up checking out, you know, later on or during the tournament or something, just because it was a little bit of a different look of a fish compared to what the gar look like. They look similar and they look different on the electronics. Once we physically saw the gar after looking at them on the electronics, I kind of figured out that obviously gar are a lot more skinny than the muskies are, and you can kind of tell the difference after looking at a few of them. So that kind of helped.
Along with that, like trying to see the difference in them, what we kind of noticed today too was uh the fish that are up probably 5 feet or above in the water column were gar, because then all of a sudden you just see them swimming. But the ones that are sitting down a little bit lower, we're probably thinking are probably muskies.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I mean, it's definitely hard to say, but the gar seem a little bit more sun friendly to going up on the surface, especially the ones that we were all seeing as well. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's big old buffalo carp down here as well that look like huge blimps as well on the old side image. So another fooler out there that are acting as muskies. About the only thing that you can actually uh, decipher is bait clouds, and even those are pretty miscellaneous and different shapes, and there's all sorts of different kinds out here. Mainly shad is obviously what we're all kind of looking for, but there's crappies, bass, and all sorts of like shiner, some sort of minnows that we're seeing on the surface as well, and some odd places. But yeah, this is different. Muddy water fishing, flooded parking lots, flooded beaches, flooded everything. A lot of launches are closed. It's bizarre,
Yeah, I
but
mean, just to name a few things that we casted today that were, I guess, dubbing as structure was one, an outhouse.
hmm
We casted around an outhouse, a couple parking stalls.
yeah,
That was kind of
you can
interesting
see
to
the
see on the
all
live
like the
imaging.
the lined bumpers that stop the your car that when you're parking on an angle at a launch. You
Yeah.
could see those picked up just perfectly on side image.
We were avoiding like no parking signs that were barely sticking out of the water. The boat ramp that we launched our boat in last year, Alfrey.
Alfrey, yeah.
Alfrey is a giant, like I don't know, super steep launch. And this year when we came, that you couldn't even drive in the other side of it. You pretty much just were only able to use the top like 20, 30 feet of the boat ramp. And then you're just driving your boat back up on the boat ramp to pick people up on the concrete slab.
No
It,
dock.
yeah, it's just a whole different ball game down here. I mean, it's nothing like we get up in the North Woods, that's for sure.
You want to talk about the full 40-foot trees floating in the middle of the lake
Yeah,
too?
yeah, that's one other thing is Gus is rocking a new boat, and Clayton's trying his damnedest not to have any boat issues this year. So we're doing our best to avoid knock on wood.
We got two eyes open while driving
Yeah,
here.
we're doing our best to avoid. I think there was a Gus and I were playing a little cleanup crew today. We were going around picking up some trash. I mean, there was some interesting things floating in the water today. We saw a full trash can floating
hmm
in the water. Greg told us that there was an entire volleyball net
Submerged half
submerged.
thing, something. I don't know.
So that wouldn't be good if you ran that over. So yeah, it's just a different ball game down here right now. And I was gonna ask Clayton and Nick this, but I guess you said 4 years now being down here. Is this your fifth year? Fifth year being down here. Have you guys ever had a year where the water's been this high or close to?
No, this would be the highest we've seen it. Um, about the same water clarity a few other times though.
Yeah,
So I
it's
mean that
muddy.
doesn't bother me personally as much. But yeah, this would be the highest for sure. I think before it was maybe 5 feet higher than normal. That'd be the highest before. Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting, but you learn new ways to fish. So
Just got to learn and adapt. I don't know what you have to add there, Clayton.
Yeah, as far as the water clarity, that doesn't bother me at all either. It's actually reminds me a lot of Wabagoon, which I absolutely love up in Canada. And I probably said that to Nick a few times a day. I'm like, oh, this feels like Wabagoon, except for every sweet spot that we're pulling into where there should be muskies like there are in Canada, they're not here. So, um, yeah, besides the quality of fishing, but for anybody that gets to listen to this on their way down here, if they're coming down, either for the tournament or next couple weeks, definitely got to watch out for those floating logs out there. They're kind of all over the place when you're going across the lake. So I wouldn't be hammering wide open if you don't have to. Take your time getting around. I guess there's a lot less hazards now, which is kind of nice if you're heading up, in some of the rivers and the creeks and the little chutes and stuff. I called it a coulee today, and Nick looked at me like I was retarded. Um, and he's like, I've never heard that before. I'm like, I think it's something like they call it out maybe west or something. Yeah, like a holler. Yeah, this is a Western lingo. Yeah, and I could be wrong about that, but I don't know. Maybe somebody can call in and fact check that on me. But
right.
so anyways, it is actually a lot safer getting around out there, which is kind of nice. We don't have to worry about bouncing off of stuff so much unless we're driving up into the woods now to fish, which we did a little bit today. But definitely keep an eye open for light posts and street signs and boat landing signs that are sticking up just under the water. I've heard of some damage being caused to fiberglass, people running up on top of those trying to fish at the launches. So make sure you take your time going through areas that are new for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, these these preview PMTT pods are always kind of funny because it's like it's really hard to actually go in depth about anything that we're doing and whatnot. And not that again what we did today was any good. But I guess overall, just 2025 tournament season here is upon us. We're doing the trail another year. Now that we got you guys here hanging out, I mean, what are your thoughts? I guess, couple old stops, couple new stops. God willing, we can all make it to the championship. But you guys looking forward to the season, Nick? I know that you look fired up over there.
It's like the pot calling the kettle black over there.
Yeah.
No, I mean, once again, we're going to Eagle River, and yeah, it's Eagle Rivers. It's kind of nice because that's where we live, so it's a lot easier for us. But at the same time, it would be kind of nice to see something different. Castle Bemidji, that should be fun again because we did pretty good up there one year. And then I think Iowa would be a really cool thing if we make it to the championship to be able to fish that. I've never fished in Iowa, so I think that'd be pretty gnarly.
Yeah, same here. I would really like to make it there, obviously, and go fish that new body of water. But Clayton, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, they said that they were going to really change it up this year, and we were going to be going to all sorts of new places, and so definitely had high hopes, and to just kind of be, I'm sorry, but let down a little bit. I'm always excited to do this trail with you guys, with Nick, to be able to fish with him again, because that guarantees us, it's like little vacations that we go on where we're fishing all, together, and it's fun and competitive, and we can yell at each other and threaten to beat the snot out of each other more times than not. But that's kind of what it's all about. Kentucky, if we could just find another place or a little different time to come down here, that would be great. But it is what it is. Eagle River going back there, again, Nick says, it can be easier because that's our home water, but honestly, I don't like fishing our home water for tournaments. I never really have. We do okay there, but honestly, I feel like I do better on new bodies of water when I go there with an open mind. We can kind of be stuck in our ruts and our ways, on our home water. So I don't necessarily know how much of an advantage it ends up being for us, to be completely honest. So when I heard that it was going back there, I was just kind of indifferent to that one. I do like Cass and Bemidji. We did come up with a pretty sweet pattern last time we were there, placed third, I believe. And we caught fish every day that we were there, which was really cool. And that doesn't happen very often, pre-fishing and tournament time. So I hope we can stumble upon something either similar or find a pattern like that, to where we can capitalize on our opportunities, because those bodies of water have potential. I've heard that they're really tough, to get fish to eat during the day and whatnot, but they will. And you just got to feed them what they want. And kind of figure out how they want it. And that can be a lot of fun. So I am looking forward to going back there. And then, like you said, Lord willing, we make it to the championship. Clear Lake, Iowa sounds like a blast. Sounds like a high numbers. Could potentially be a shootout there. I heard it really depends on what the weeds are looking like and stuff. But I am looking forward to that for sure because I've fished just one lake in Iowa so far, and that was super cool. So that'll be a fun new one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think, part of doing this stuff is it's fun just hanging out and kind of having our own like little muskie camps, each stop. Good or bad, even off after bad days like today where you just get off the water like what the hell just happened. It's fun to come back to the cabin and just chat about it and laugh about it, be a little self-deprecating. It's just kind of a fun deal. I mean, yeah, I agree. Obviously the bite down here, it's tough, but when you get fish, it's rewarding. You guys have caught fish down here, and we've been fortunate enough to as well. So it's just one of those deals, and yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited for the trail this year. I mean, granted, I know going to Eagle River can be, it is what it is, but at the same time, like I feel that some redemption is definitely needed for all four of us sitting here after the championship last year. I know
Mm-hmm.
I can just tell by looking over at Gus right now.
Yeah, all
On
of
our
us.
on our
I was gonna say,
13-hour car ride, we, we're reminiscing on the tournaments from last year and kind of like what we could have done better and, missed opportunities and all that fun stuff, just dwelling on on that shit. But it just kind of put things into perspective, like, man, how maybe a small decision here, a small misstep there can just make like such a big difference in
yeah,
musky fishing and your success in these events. Like one,
it's
difference between 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 fish is such a big deal.
it absolutely is, and I know Clayton was saying like he's indifferent about going back to Eagle River, and so am I for having a big tournament on the home waters. There's a lot of pressure there, and you totally kind of get stuck in your own ways or stuck in a rut, or since it's going to be late June, it's always up to the fact that could be like a transition time. It could be acting like it's a early June open water bite. It could be acting like a early July, mid July summer pattern bite. There's mixtures of fish that always happens, but even like thinking back to last year's championship, I actually made a decision that I realized was probably incorrect, where I was actually going on a pattern of what was working on other lakes during that time in September, and I was trying to bring it to the chain, and I was trying to change the chain behavior when the chain just
It's got
does
its own beat.
it's its own beast. Like I don't know why I wasn't just throwing what should work on the chain, which is what Max was throwing, which got him the fish and the most action for bucktails. And I couldn't really buy much going on bucktails because I was trying too many weird things that were working on different lakes, nearby, but they act differently. So sometimes you do just need to go back to the basics and get a little stuck in your own ways because if it has worked in the past, it probably will work in the future. We were kind of joking about that today, talking about like, oh, the Cave Run is one of those lakes where the rattle trap bite was kind of developed. What's another lake? Kincaid or something like that as well.
Mhm.
And you're looking at, I don't know about you guys, even Clayton and Nick, we've never caught a fish on a rattle trap at all. Clayton shaking his head. Yeah, that's just not something. Never mind. Never mind. Bass don't count, Nick. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I was gonna say largemouth bass. Those don't count, Nick. This is a musky podcast.
Muskie in bottles.
Musky and bottles. We'll discuss that later. All right. But yeah, like just bass fishing sometimes works to catch fish. We're like, oh yeah, I heard, watching old Keys, they caught them like that 10, 15 years ago, or we heard them doing that. It's like, well, it probably still works, but just
Yeah.
something to try.
I think one of the, I mean, not, I mean, I know we've been a little bit Debbie Downer. It's probably due to the fact that I think collectively here we're probably working on about an hour of sleep between the four of us. But the one, thing that's kind of fun about Cave is you are able to kind of try a bunch of different stuff and a huge wide variety of different presentations work every year from what it sounds like. You always hear that fish will be caught in 3 feet of water, fish will be caught in 30 feet of water. There's fish caught on rattle traps, a size, what is a rattle trap?
Like
3 inches, 4 inches.
4, 5. It's pretty
And
small.
you'll
Yeah,
have fish
3.
caught on, up to dying dogs and
Mag
magnum
dogs.
bulldogs,
Yeah.
regular, Medusas, stuff like that.
10
So
inch crankbaits.
I feel like you don't really hear about stuff like that happening too often in other types of lakes. And it kind of, keeps your mind working. And at the end of the day, when the bite is that tough, like you're really only looking at, probably one good bite to 2 bites to cash a check, and maybe 2 to 3. And I don't have a crystal ball, but you're talking about 2 good bites to 3 bites to maybe take first. So, you know, that's it's that's not out of the realm of crazy things when you're thinking about it. Like even when things are tough over the course of what do we get, 15, 16 hours. It's hard to catch fish in these tournaments, but if you get into a little bit of a pattern, it's not crazy to catch 2 or 3. So I don't know. That's kind of the fun thing is you don't we none of us are sitting here feeling like we're gonna need to catch 6 fish this weekend to
No,
play.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a place to see and catch fish daily. Well, this time of year, I should say. Cave Run is definitely known for certain bites at certain times of the year. It gets a little tough when you're working with the pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn because this time of year we have all caught and seen fish going both ways. So it's really just a get out there and find your best patterns and trust your guts. We've talked about this on this pod with Clayton and Nick ourselves, and I mean we do however many tournament podcasts a year. The pre PMTT, post PMTT, and how we did, and we discuss a lot of that. So, um, yeah.
Right on. Well, I mean, what what are we working with here, fellas? Any other closing thoughts? I mean, I know Nick wanted to promote his potential new podcast idea, Muskies and Bottles. He's gonna have a
Muskies on
co-host.
Draft.
One of it, Muskies on Draft. One of his childhood friends is gonna come on, say some dumb stuff as a co-host. Pretty original idea, honestly.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then have
we're
a
like,
brother as well
how can we
co-host.
hop on as a sponsor? Yeah.
Can our podcast sponsor your podcast? That's the question. Sponsored by Trout Trousers.
All right, let's do some.
Asleep at the reel.
Yeah, asleep at the reel. No, all right. Hey, I like the
Hey,
creativity over on that side of the
yeah.
couch. All right, let's maybe go around the room. We don't have Brian here to give us the DraftKings odds on the weekend, but
Over under.
I do want to
Oh.
hear what let's do two competitions here. Everyone's guessing biggest fish caught in tournament hours and number of fish caught to win this weekend's event down in Cave Run. Nick, you are first up.
Let her rip.
Biggest fish, 45. And I'm going to say 3 wins the tournament.
I'm gonna say 47 is the big fish and 2 wins the tournament.
So I'm gonna say 46 and a quarter is the biggest, and I also think it's gonna take 3 to win it, and they're gonna have to be all over 34 inches.
I'm going to go 45 and a half is the biggest fish and a big double is going to win it. Potentially over a 3 fish team, but a big double is going to win it this weekend. I think looking at the weather, it looks like Saturday we're getting. I mean, like we said, today was 85, flat, sunny.
It's like the only day.
Yeah, water
Of
temp shot from
this.
59 this morning up to places we saw almost 70. Pretty crazy. Tomorrow it's looking like on and off storms. Friday's looking like on and off storms, and then a big northeast wind cold front looks like it's blowing in on by Sunday, kind of happening on Saturday. So no clue what that's going to do for the bite. Maybe everything we do pre-fishing is going to be thrown out the window by Saturday afternoon, but
So on the other end of the spectrum, what do you think is going to take 10th place? How big of a
that's
fish is going to need to
so
get a top 10 finish?
the last year was 39. I can speak to this because we took 10th, I think, right? It's 39 and 3/4. One fish. I think it's going to be another one fish takes 10th. I think it's going to be over. I think this year it's going to be over again. It's going to just, I'm going to run it back over 39-inch fish. One fish takes 10th place again this year.
Oh, I don't think there's going to be as many fish caught this year. I think it's going to be more like a 33, 34 incher that's going to take 10th.
We're
I don't
doing a
know what
little
you guys think.
Madison 2.0.
Yeah, Madison. No, I was kind of more on Max's side. I guess I'll just keep my original thought there. I was saying without the mic about 40 and a half. Single fish takes 10th, but I think I'm with Clayton on it that it might be a low numbers year in total, but I don't know the way it's setting up. I feel like a big girl is gonna fall, which is why my big fish of the weekend I was saying 47. So
Yeah, I think that high water is going to make things tough. I mean, like
oh
we
yeah,
saw today. I mean, if you're not in an area where you feel confident that there's fish, like you can just get lost out there. Because we were trying to talk about this, Gus. Like we were just too sleep deprived to even think like trying to quantify it. But it's like
oh yeah,
when you add
we still are.
20 feet of water across an entire reservoir, that's what is it,
I
like
don't even
7,000 acres?
7, 8, 10,
7,
12,000.
12,000 acres. Yeah.
It's 7, 8, 10, 12. I can count
7 to 11,000 acres. It's probably varies
at
so much
normal
because of the
pool.
damn.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't make any sense because acres is not depth.
Oh, that's
But
surface area. Oh, volume of water.
volume of water increases so drastically across 7,000 acres when you're raising it by 20 feet. 8,000 acres.
So just over 8.
Okay, so but yeah, okay. If there's somebody who's not sleep deprived and smarter than us out there, what's the math equation on taking an at pool 8,000 acre lake and then raising it by 20 feet? How much more fishing
we would need the
surface
average.
area
We would
or
need the average
volume?
depth.
Average depth.
We need average depth of cave run.
Oh, okay. Displacing water. Yeah, sure.
I think we're going beyond our education
Scope
here.
here. Yeah. Yeah, we need actually we need
We
our
need
numbers
our
guy.
math guy.
Yeah.
Apps that tell you like what
Oh my goodness, yeah.
actual. So there's apps, water.usace.army.mil.
Type it in.
Blah. Yeah, Cave Run Lake. It's kind of, this is an app I'm looking at right now. It's just showing like what the elevation, inflow, outflow, storage, precip, and so right now they're pulling water like crazy at like 40, almost 4,700 CFS. I'm pretty sure that's about maxed out to drop about 6 inches a day. There's still some water coming in yet, only 720 CFS. Elevation is at 750 feet currently, which is down in, well, this, yeah, I think ish. Yep. And then, so this is kind of an interesting one, and I don't know what the normal storage is, but currently the storage is 429,017 acres per foot. Yeah, AC-FT, whatever. I don't know. Somebody else might have to fact check me on that one too. So, but
You know them outline.
yeah, it is. It's just interesting, like what they have out there, and these apps that'll tell you what's all happening. It's pretty incredible, like how much water can actually hold in this reservoir. Is still far greater than what it's ever even gotten to. Yes, of course, there's flooding that happens and stuff, and there's going to be damage, but before it ends up running over the top of the dam. I don't even know what it is, but it's an insane amount of water that can hold behind that dam before it goes over the top.
Yeah, Cave Run's big, man. I mean, Gus and I ran all over the lake today, and yeah, shout out. Nick said we pulled the barber. Shout out Jeremy and Trevor, who are unfortunately not down here with us this year. We're missing greatly. We need a little spark of energy, which I know Jeremy would have provided.
Oh, for sure.
Graciously this evening. But yeah, I totally forgot that lake just takes freaking forever to get from one side to the other. I mean,
Not to mention still breaking in the new motor that can't put it over certain RPMs for the
Yeah.
most part. So we're bopping around at about 25
yeah,
miles
that
an
was
hour.
getting on my nerves. I was
I could tell. I'm sitting there just doing my best, trying to not blow an engine up.
yeah, fair enough.
So
Yeah,
just bear
no.
with me, brother.
Well, all right. Any closing statements here from the couch over there on I don't know. Any well wishes, any wise words to the listeners? Nick, you got something?
Yeah, I do. I just want to give a shout out to Elliot's Pizzeria.
Oh,
That's where we
yeah.
had our dinner tonight,
Shout
and
out.
it was damn delicious.
Damn delicious.
So yeah,
Did that have anything to do with you not eating a legitimate meal for the last 24 hours?
no,
No? Okay. All right.
I had a sandwich this morning. We're good.
Oh, okay. Nice. All right. Wow. That's good.
I'll give you to Gustafson now.
Yeah. Gus starved me on the boat today.
Yeah, apologies there. Just a rough day overall, but that's all right. I don't know if I got any wise words. Maybe just make sure you got your paper maps out. Get old school. Grab yourself a old cocktail and make yourself a stiff one and get to work. That's how the best plans come together. Chop it up with your boys.
I am having a tadpole this evening.
Oh,
Yeah.
tadpole. Yeah. Well, mine was close. It's crown apple and water instead of just crown
Yeah.
and water. But
I think
what do you call that? A leopard apple?
harvest tadpole. Tad apple. Bullfrog.
The only thing I gotta just add to this, and man, I'll tell you what, it sure feels good to be casting again. I don't care how bad the fishing is. I got all kinds of new gear and new toys from the shows, and oh my goodness, like
Okay.
I mean,
Oh, I want to say
Like-
something so bad right now, but I don't know if I can or Gus will get mad at me. But
fire away.
I'll say this, man. There's a lot of new baits I'm really excited about that I thought were just going to be perfect for this tournament.
They are
They are?
probably,
Okay.
maybe.
All right. I felt that they potentially might not be given the water situation that we're dealing with.
Quite possibly, yes.
Yeah. Because you know
Oh, man.
exactly the stuff I'm talking about, and I threw it for the first 5 hours a day with a shit-eating grin on my face. Just so pumped to check out all the new stuff we've gotten at the shows. We've talked plenty about all the stuff that we've gotten, but I'd love to name all the baits. I'm not going to, just on the whole, just respect for the competitiveness of this event. On things you do or didn't work for us or did whatever, yada yada. But yeah, I was like thinking that a few of these things were just going to be absolutely money, and yeah, I just don't know if that's going to be necessarily the case, which is okay. Like Gus said or Clayton said, adapt and overcome.
I mean, if you guys happen to not have a lot of success on all these baits and you decide that you're gonna throw them away, just let me know.
Can't
'cause
imagine.
There's
that
a
would
bunch
be
of
the
them
case.
that I probably would personally give maybe a second or third chance at, but yeah, Gus, what do you got something to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, so then I can trade back all the baits that I already stole from you, and we can mix it. What? Yeah.
what? No, jeez. Oh man, I didn't even know.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So, but anyways, yeah. So I got like a whole new run of Thorn Brothers stealth rods that I've been playing with today.
What
and
do you think about those?
first impressions are so far it seems like I got the rods without ever using a stealth rod before. I got all the right ones for what I wanted them for. They're working great.
What was your workhorse today? What was the one that was in your bullpen that you kept going to?
Probably the most used would have been a 9 foot medium heavy, and I was using that for the glide baits, a little bit smaller twitch baits, and even yeah, jigs and like the micro red October tubes, those little baby tubes. That yeah, I had to throw one of those on and hope, gosh, that I didn't get it completely jacked up right away because I only have one of the color that I think might work here. But anyways, I do want to give one shout out too, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
real quick.
Go
I'd like
ahead.
to give a shout out to Greg Thomas, for pulling through clutch once again, 2 years in a row for me. I showed up here, unpacked the boat this morning, found that my trolling motor prop had snapped in half, and I would have had to drive to Louisville today to go get a new one if he wouldn't have had one for me. So
Cool.
the guy's amazing. I mean, he'll do anything for anyone if if he can possibly help people out. He's done so much for me over the last couple of years, and I truly cannot thank him and Nathan enough for everything that they've done for me. So shout out those guys.
Shout out, good people for sure.
Shout
That
out.
was that was I guess I kind of alluded to that at the beginning of the podcast. It's just cave run, man. Just shit happens down here for whatever reason. Specifically to you for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know why. But yeah, it was a long drive. A lot of fun though. This is the type of shit that we do enjoy, whether it sounds like it right now or not. I know we're kind of using this podcast as maybe a little bit of a vent session, but that's all right. Yeah, I don't have any personal closing thoughts. Hopefully we'll have a banger of an episode to bring to you guys next week with some good stories and actual fish caught. And yeah, I mean, other than that, Gus, Nick, Clay, you guys are the ones that have stuff to maybe chat about here at the end of this podcast. But I'm good. I got my whiskey, I got my tadpole, I got the hockey game on. Life's good.
Yep, we got hockey on, playoff hockey, nothing like it. Yeah, before we close out here, we start with you, Clayton. Give out to your socials and guide info.
Yeah. So for those people that actually subscribe to my YouTube channel, if anyone here listens and watches that, I'm really sorry that I haven't had any fresh content for you. I actually had my external hard drive damaged and potentially lost everything that I've ever had, because I was backing up a laptop which crashed on me, and I got lazy and never got a second backup. When external hard drive went down, I lost everything. It looks like I'll be getting something back around 50% of possibly what was on there, of like 6 terabytes worth of footage. And I really, really, really hope that I have the Lake of Wood stuff, our Operation Dokies from this last summer. There's still a ton of footage that I'm trying to get out there that I haven't been able to yet. So stay tuned. I'm not done. Hopefully, I've got a little bit more before we roll into the new season here. But yeah, so I have a guide business. It's This'll Do Outdoor Adventures out of Eagle River, Wisconsin. You can reach me at 715-891-1046. You can look me up on Facebook at Clayton Speece, at This'll Do Outdoor Adventures, on Instagram at Clayton Speece, or on YouTube at This'll Do Outdoor Adventures. So if you are looking to book a guide trip up in northern Wisconsin this summer, spring, summer, fall, I've got quite a few openings yet still, just kind of scattered around. I'm pretty flexible as far as being able to work people in for the most part. So give me a shout. Let's see if we can work something out. And yeah, we'll see you on the water.
Awesome. Let's Nick, I know you aren't selling right now, but what do you have to promote?
I got muskies and bottles to promote. Yeah. No, well, yeah, I'm not really selling any baits at this moment. It's Hammer Custom Lures. You can find it on Facebook. Probably the next time I'll have those up for sale, it'll be the Wisconsin Muskie Expo next year. but I am working on some new baits that I'm gonna release again probably for next year, and maybe release another new one I'm working on. So
Nick, what was your best-selling bait at the shows this year?
hands down, it was the hammer jerk, the dive and rise,
Yeah.
which oh yeah, I'm looking to have probably more of those next year. I'm actually currently just about to start building a new lure shop, so
Oh,
things should go
breaking
pretty well with
news.
that.
You didn't want to drop that one on Muskies and Bottles? Appreciate that. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm kind of working on that right now. So I'm hoping to at least have everything framed up and pretty much done probably within next month. And then I'm gonna start building. I'm getting serious.
Getting real serious.
Super serial.
Getting super serious. About to fuck some shit up.
That's my hype man.
Yeah. Go buy
Well-
an Emma Custom.
That's about all I got. So keep her greased.
Hell yeah. All right. We got, of course, Muskies on Tap on Instagram and Facebook if you want to give that a shout. Check us out. And if you're listening on, well, whatever you're listening to, if you want to give a comment, subscribe, whatchamacallit, share, that would be much appreciated. As well as Muskies on Tap on YouTube. That's where the podcast gets posted. And sometimes YouTube videos, sometimes, maybe. Sometimes. But
More than likely not.
more than likely,
At
yeah.
times.
Try my best.
Could be a one and done.
When I'm done.
One done here on YouTube.
That's what some say. That I'll let the haters say that. But no, you can also find my guide service, Suggs Fishing guide service, out of Eagle River, Wisconsin area as well. That's SUGS Fishing on Facebook, Instagram, and www.sugsfishing.com. And we don't have any this week, but if you do want to send anything in on the Mott line, or when we get the listeners on the line, you can send a message to 920-264-3816. You can also use the Mott line to book a trip if you want. That is my cell phone. So get in touch. And I got nothing else, Max, other than one little phrase for you. Lock the fuck in.
Lock the fuck in. Yeah, I'm ready to go, man. We'll be refocused after a good night of sleep. We'll catch you guys next Thursday. Peace.
Peace.